About 2 years ago, we started with this slogan. We're going to redefine, redesign, and reimagine teaching and learning in our district. And obviously, as a result of the COVID-19, we had to adapt to that. To give you a little background on March 13th, that's when all of a sudden the county said, we're going to shut down. So at about 3:30 that afternoon, they said, okay, 5 o'clock, we're going to notify everyone. So within an hour and a half, we had to send out notifications for over 10,000 students. Notifying the students to parents that we were going to be shut down for approximately 2 weeks. We had our spring break scheduled at that particular point in time, so that we felt that was going to give us a little bit of time to work with it. Over that time frame, we get a notice that we're going to be shut down for the remainder of the year. So we came back and said, okay, we're going to be shut down for the remainder of the academic year. So it was a matter of, what do we do at that particular time when we've got 10,000 students that we need to educate? We're very, very fortunate to have Dr. Aswani. And before I say that, let me just let you know that there is a silver lining. We're scheduled to open back up on August the 3rd. That's our plan at this particular time. That may change. And it may be a combination of a virtual, or it may be a face-to-face, and we're probably looking at a blended approach.
Thank you. Thank you. So you can well imagine, we've got adults in schools. We've never expected our teachers to use complete computers to instruct, go completely online without any preparation. So we stand here with so much pride for our teachers who just went from, what are we going to do, to how are we going to teach online? So we went 100% online with 1 week of planning for our teachers. And so that's what we see. We also trained our teachers on using Zoom. So they were doing live lessons with children. Imagine, if you will, we're training our children how to use technology from the house. We're telling our parents how they can support their children, and we're supporting over 480 teachers to all get there at the same time with no preparation. We did a really good job. Our teachers are just to be applauded. Thank you for trusting, your children, your family to our district, because truly they came forth and they've done a great job. And we also opened a distance learning website where we started loading all kinds of PD. How do you teach kids in the classroom? We took our textbooks, we reached out to the publishers, and we uploaded the digital version. Because remember, when the children went to school, they couldn't get back into the classrooms. So the textbooks were right in the classrooms. So now the teachers are struggling with, where's the materials? How do we get them? So we had to think of dancing in so many circles, but we learned so much, right? And we gave ourselves permission to do that. So that's what we've done, and Dr. Williams also asked us to then go forward and create a permanent structure, which is a virtual school. Is that on the same slide, or just finish it here? Okay, so the virtual school is our 9th school in the district. We started planning for that almost simultaneously as we went into distance learning. And the virtual school is, if you will imagine, a proper school without the brick and mortar building. So the virtual school will open up on August 1st. It will have the requirements of 220 credits as a traditional school. It's A through G approved. And the students who will come to us are those students who parents and families feel that going back to school at this time is not really what they want to do. And also, many of our children who left our district because they felt that option wasn't available will now say, we want to go back, because it will be a traditional college-bound school. So we're having fun setting it up. We've got some great courses we've added to it, advanced placement, honors, name it. So we are really excited about that. So thank you, Dr. Williams, for giving us that opportunity.
And one of the other challenges was, we think of all of the graduates that we've had from our schools. And this year was a different graduation class from any of the ones that we've had before. We obviously had virtual graduations, which we pre-recorded all of our speeches and everything and delivered it to our students. But a number of our students came to us and says, you know something? We know that we have to respect the social distancing, so how could you do this? And so we've had the drive-through type graduations, in which the students have, the very first one that we did was Sims. And in that particular graduation, we were processing about 30 students per hour. So they only have about a little bit less than 120 graduates. It took us 4 hours. Then we got to schools like Victorville and Silverado, which have close to 400 or 500 students. I think we got better each time that we did graduation. And we got to the point that, Victor was from 8 to 10, from 10 to 12, from 1 to something, and from 5 to 7 to do that number. So it took a full day to do a graduation as compared to an hour.
The state of California, in this whole crisis, what they did was they decided to ensure that school systems had the resources that they needed to continue to pay employees, regardless of whether or not they were working 5 days a week. Because I guess the state wanted to ensure that there was really no impact to people's livelihoods, which was a good thing, albeit we went on modified schedules. So we continued to process a multi-million-dollar payroll, also to pay our vendors. We had contracts that continually, went on. We had to pay lights and things like that to make sure that we had tools available for our students. In that entire process and piece, we went more distance in terms of the paperwork and reduced the amount of interaction with the public and vendors coming in and out of the district office, but we were able to get some county relief relative to sending things via email, scan copies, and so forth. We also moved in a critical way to make sure that all of our facilities were sanitized. When we had, as a measurable example, students coming back and picking up their stuff, because when the school shut down, they shut down. Sometimes in the shutdown, we have kids leave things in lockers and so forth. So we had to have a period of time where they can come back and get those items. But our main priority was to ensure the safety not only of our students returning, but of our employees. We have a measurable plan moving forward to sanitize and to clean our facilities when we return back to school in whatever way that looks. Also, we did something that was outside of the box from a high desert area, albeit it was done in a school district in Coachella Valley a couple of years ago. Daryl Adams was the superintendent there. We implemented the same type of process and program here, where we fitted our school buses with Wi-Fi hotspots. So we look through the lens of equity for students. Sometimes children and families may not be able to afford internet access. So we went above and beyond the call of duty. Because we have such a large amount of students who are under the free and reduced meal program, we have over 80% of students who have been identified lacking resources compared to other individuals. They really required us to make sure that we were still able to feed our community. And I'm proud to say that our Child Nutrition Services Department was able on average per week to feed over 15,000 to 16,000 students.
Thank you, Dr. Williams. So our greatest resource is our human resource, is our students, our families, our staff. And some of the amazing things that we were able to accomplish right away, we have unions, the classified union, the teachers union. We met very quickly, and in a very collaborative fashion, we're able to reach some common understandings of how we were going to operate in order to keep all of our students safe and our staff safe. But some of the other considerations are in regards to, it's one thing to not go to school, it's another thing to be at home when your parents have lost their jobs, or you have a family member who's ill. So in addition to serving our students' academic needs, we needed to make sure that we were there supporting their mental health needs. So a lot of our teachers, our counselors, our administrators would receive notifications, and I got all the notifications at the same time, odd hours of the night where there was a student who's suicidal, expressing thoughts of hurt himself. We made sure that we always had the resources to support those students. Another wonderful thing that some of our employees did was making sure that every child had a device, whether it was a Chromebook, right? And we took it a step further, as Dr. Hawkins mentioned, making sure that they had those hotspots. In addition to the buses, we also secured a very large number of Wi-Fi hotspots, and I was very proud to serve side by side with Dr. Williams' cabinet and other leaders. We actually drove to their homes, knocked on their door and said, hey, we understand you may not have a device or a Wi-Fi hotspot. Here you go, we want to make sure you're able to access education during these challenging times. And a lot of folks don't hear that story of what we do, in addition to teaching, reading, and writing, making sure that their mental health needs are met, that we're feeding our children, as Dr. Hawkins mentioned, but that we're also making sure they have the tools that they need to succeed. So we're very proud of our team and under the leadership of Dr. Williams. As Dr. Hawkins mentioned, it forced us to look at ourselves because we had some downtime, right, in terms of, oh, there's nobody around me. I think about something, right? We're still working. We're working harder than I think we've ever worked, before. I can only stand being in a Zoom meeting so long, right? After a while, I turn off the camera and I do jumping jacks because I go nuts. But we also shifted. We knew we couldn't be face-to-face previously and get people's signatures for contracts or those things. So we shifted to an electronic platform for signing contracts and those things. And we're really visiting even the way we do interviews. Our first interview was really comical. One of the candidates, their daughter ran through the house and then the dog ran through and this is during the interview, answering the question. It was really fun. But we're making the best that we can. When they throw lemons at you, you make lemonade. And we're serving the needs of our children under the leadership of Dr. Williams. Thank you.